Two men, two airports, two planes flying in opposite directions, one heading home, one heading to Kansas City, one packing his boots for the last time, folding his captain's armband into a suitcase he will never unpack for a World Cup again. The other taping his ankles, stretching his 39-year-old legs, preparing for a quarterfinal he has no biological right to still be playing in. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi arrived at the 2026 World Cup together. They made history together. The first two men in the 96-year existence of this tournament to play in 6 World Cups. 6. A career that stretches so far back that when they debuted, there was no VAR, no social media, no smartphones in the stands. Just two kids from Madeira and Rosario who could do things with a football that made grown adults stop breathing. And within 24 hours of each other, in 2 cities 1,000 miles apart, both of them cried. But only one of them is still here. This is the story of how the greatest rivalry in the history of sport reached its final chapter, and how that chapter broke every heart watching. Let's start in Arlington, Texas. Monday night, July 6th, 2026. AT&T Stadium. 80,000 people. Spain against Portugal in the round of 16. And Cristiano Ronaldo knows, because he told the world the day before, that this is the last time. Yes, he said in his pre-match press conference, almost matter-of-factly. This is my last World Cup. He's 41 years old. He has scored more international goals than any human being who has ever lived. 146. He has played more international matches than any human being who has ever lived. 233. He has won European championships. He has won Champions Leagues. He has won league titles in England, Spain, and Italy. He has earned more money, sold more shirts, gathered more followers, and generated more debate than any athlete in any sport in any era. And the World Cup, the one thing, the only thing, has never been his. Against Spain, he tried. He always tries. That has never been the question with Ronaldo. The question has always been whether trying, at this level, at this age, against opponents this good, is enough. And on Monday night the answer, gently and finally, was no. The game was suffocating. Both teams afraid to lose more than they wanted to win. Ronaldo touched the ball, held the ball, looked for spaces that didn't exist. Spain's goalkeeper, Unai Simon, who hadn't conceded a goal in over 600 minutes of World Cup football, was barely troubled. The Portuguese attack, built around a 41-year-old center-forward who can no longer press, can no longer sprint past defenders, can no longer bend the physics of a football match the way he used to. It simply wasn't enough. And then, in the first minute of stoppage time, Mikel Merino came off the Spanish bench, collected the ball on the edge of the area, and slid it past Diogo Costa into the bottom corner. 1-0 Spain. 91st minute. And that was it. That was how it ended. Not with a bang. Not with a last-minute Ronaldo header. Not with a trademark free kick curling into the top corner. Not with the Hollywood ending that 20 years of rivalry demanded. It ended with a substitute scoring a quiet goal while Ronaldo stood 50 yards away, unable to reach the ball, unable to change the outcome, unable to do the one thing he has spent his entire life doing, bending the world to his will through sheer force of refusal to accept defeat. The cameras found him at the final whistle, standing alone on the pitch, jaw clenched, eyes red, tears running down his face. He looked up at the crowd. He clapped. He kept clapping long after his teammates had walked to the tunnel. And then, slowly, like a man leaving a house he built but can no longer live in, he walked off the pitch for the last time at a World Cup. I gave my all, he said afterward. I'm leaving with a clear conscience. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Tomorrow is a new day, and life goes on. 5 World Cups. 0 finals. The greatest goal scorer in the history of football, and the one trophy that mattered most, the only one that could have settled the debate forever, will never have his name on it. 24 hours later, Atlanta, Georgia, Tuesday night, and Lionel Messi is dying. Not literally, but in every way that matters inside a football stadium. Argentina are finished. Egypt, brave, organized, fearless Egypt, lead 2-0 with 11 minutes remaining. Yasser Ibrahim scored first, then Mustafa Zico doubled it on the counter, and somewhere in between, Messi stepped up to take a penalty that could have changed everything at 1-1, and missed. He didn't just miss, he missed badly. The goalkeeper saved it. And with that miss, Messi became the first player in World Cup history to fail from the penalty spot twice in the same tournament, excluding shootouts. A record nobody wanted. A footnote that, if this game ended the way it was heading, would have followed him forever. 2-0 down, 11 minutes left, 39 years old. Penalty missed. Tournament over. Except this is Lionel Messi. And Lionel Messi does not operate inside the same rules as everyone else. 79th minute. Argentina win a corner. The ball comes in. Cristian Romero rises above everyone and heads it home. 2-1. The stadium, packed with Argentine fans who had been silent for an hour, explodes. 4 minutes later, 83rd minute. The ball falls to Messi on the edge of the box. The same left foot that missed the penalty. The same man who 20 minutes ago looked like he had failed his country for the last time. He doesn't think. He doesn't hesitate. He smashes it into the net. 2-2. Messi sprints to the corner flag. His teammates bury him. The stadium sounds like it's being torn apart from the inside. And deep into stoppage time, Enzo Fernandez rises to head home the winner. 3-2 Argentina. At the final whistle, Messi drops. Not to his knees. He just stops. Stands still. And the tears come. Uncontrollable. Visible. Real. His teammates rush to him. They lift him into the air. Literally pick him up and throw him skyward the way they did in Qatar 4 years ago. And Messi just hangs there, suspended for a moment between the ground and the sky, crying. I cried because I felt I let my teammates down with the penalty, he said. The way I took it, I felt responsible. But thankfully, God had something special for me in the end. Tom Brady watched it from home. The man who engineered the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, the 28-3 game against the Atlanta Falcons, in this same city. He tweeted one line. Yeah, so that might top 28-3. Here is the image that will outlast everything else from this tournament. 2 men crying, 24 hours apart, 1,000 miles between them. One crying because it was over, the other crying because it almost was. Ronaldo's tears were the tears of a man who gave everything, and it still wasn't enough. Messi's tears were the tears of a man who thought he'd failed, and then discovered, one more time, that something inside him, something that science cannot explain, and statistics cannot measure, still had one more miracle left. This is what makes their rivalry the greatest in the history of sport. Not the goals, not the trophies, not the Ballon d'Or count. It's the fact that after 20 years of running side by side, pushing each other to heights neither would have reached alone, their stories have diverged in the cruelest possible way. At the very end, on the very same stage, in the very same week. Ronaldo's World Cup career is 5 tournaments of heartbreak. A semi-final in 2006 when he was 21 and the world was at his feet. A group stage exit in 2014. A round of 16 exit in 2018, 2022, and now 2026. Each tournament a little dimmer than the last. Each exit a little more painful. The world's most relentless competitor, running into the one wall he could never break through. Messi's World Cup career is the opposite arc. Heartbreak first. The final he lost in 2014. The tears in the Maracana. The years when everyone said he could never win the big one. And then, at 35, in Qatar, he won it. The greatest individual tournament performance anyone had ever seen. And now, at 39, he's doing it again. 8 goals, leading the Golden Boot. Dragging Argentina through games by the scruff of the neck with a body that should have stopped working at this level 3 years ago. Messi has now scored more World Cup goals than any player in history. 21. He overtook Miroslav Klose in the group stage and hasn't stopped since. He's scored in 6 different World Cups, a record he shares only with Ronaldo. But Ronaldo's goals were scattered across early round exits. Messi's goals are deep in the tournament, in knockout games, in moments where everything is on the line. That is the difference. That has always been the difference. Not talent. They are both touched by something beyond normal human capability. The difference is timing. The difference is that Messi's miracles arrive when the stakes are highest. And Ronaldo's, for all their brilliance, arrive around too early. There's a moment in the Argentina dressing room footage after the Egypt game. The cameras caught it briefly before the door closed. Messi is sitting on a bench, head down, an ice pack on his left ankle, a towel over his head. His teammates are celebrating around him, and he's just sitting there, still, breathing. He's 39. His body hurts. His legs are slower than they were in Qatar. His first touch is still supernatural, but the recovery time between sprints is longer now, and the tournament isn't getting easier. Switzerland await in the quarterfinal. And after that, if Argentina survive, a semi-final. And after that, maybe, impossibly, a final. He's 4 games away from doing what no nation has done since Brazil in 1962, winning back-to-back World Cups. 4 games away from cementing a legacy that is already untouchable, but could become something beyond legacy. Something closer to myth. And Ronaldo is on a plane, flying east, back to a life that contains everything a human being could want, except the one thing he wanted most. 20 years ago, a skinny teenager from Rosario and a sculpted teenager from Madeira walked onto football's biggest stages for the first time. They were told they would define an era. They were told their rivalry would be the greatest the game had ever seen. Nobody told them how it would end. Nobody told them it would end like this. In the same week. In the same country. With the same tears on both their faces and completely different reasons for crying. Ronaldo's story is finished. It is a story of unimaginable greatness that fell one trophy short of perfection. It is complete. It is over. And it is heartbreaking. Messi's story has one chapter left. Maybe two. Maybe, if something truly extraordinary happens in the next 10 days. 3. And the only question left in the greatest rivalry sport has ever known is the simplest one of all. How does Messi's chapter end?